I go to by boat. They said the family, they said it's better I stay in my country. All the country like the ISIS, it's better the ISIS kill me. I will go to Europe, and they go to Turkey. They go to United States. They waiting around 5 years, 6 years. Some people 10 years. They waiting. And this family, the my family, 10 people, the children, wife, husband, they go to by boat and they died in the beach. All of them they died. That is it. My cousin, 3 sisters, that's sister, and that's also, that is my nephew, and that's one to do both of them, and that's my village. And all of them they keep the ISIS inside. They kill many people. Just me the everywhere they know what is happening. The Yazidi people, please, we need to help the Yazidi people.
Today we are in a joint protest in support of Yazidi and Jewish people. As many of you know that the Yazidi were attacked by Islamic State of Iraq and Syria in August of 2014. What happened? This is the Islamic Jihadists, and they are against every non-Muslim group in the Middle East. That includes the Yazidi, the Jews, the Kildor Syrian Christian, the Zoroastrian, the Mandian, the Baha'is, etc. These people are the indigenous people of that land. The Muslim or the Arabs or the Kurds or the Turks, they are the occupier of Middle East. The Middle East history, if you go back to an ancient history, these all groups used to live together like just one family, like brother and sister, and in harmony. No one group had something against the other group until the Islam introduced to that region to come to occupy, to kill the people or to convert them by force. As Yazidi, we have faced 74 genocide by different Islamic sects that include the Turks, the Kurds, the Arabs, the Afghanis, the Pakistanis, and so on. Today we live in a 21st century when there are world leaders that they claim responsibility for the world affairs, but unfortunately we don't see any types of protection for those minorities who are struggling to survive as God created them in their ancient homeland, which is very sad to see. Especially the UN claim responsibility. They are the largest organization that claim responsibility for equal rights and equal treatment of the people of the world today. We are asking them, like the Yazidi in Turkey, they interview the UNHCR and then they give them the waiting time for the next appointment, 6-7 years, some of them even 8 years. Just recently in Diyarbakir camp, there were about 1,250 Yazidi there. On January 3, the Turkish authority ordered them to leave to Midyat. Then now in this cold, 6 people, they live in one tent that's only about 4 meters square, including their kitchen is with them, which is not safe at all. They tell UN for help, there's no help for them. They ask the Turkish government for ID card or what they call kumlik, they don't give it to them. But for the Muslim people, they give them right away. For the Yazidi, there's nothing. The Yazidi used to receive some financial aid for about 100 Turkish lira for a month to survive, and in many areas now they cut that aid. They ask UN, they say you have to ask Turkish government. They ask Turkish government, they say you are Yazidi, sorry, we don't give it to you anymore. So you have to be on your own. So we are calling on our government to do something to give equality and equal rights to the Yazidi refugees in Syria, in Turkey, in Greece, and the IDP in northern Iraq, which have been suffered more than anyone. They are stuck in between the Iraqi government and the Kurdish authority that they claim their indigenous land. we hope that our government, with the new U.S. administration, with the European government, to work together to create an autonomous region for the Yazidi and Syrian Christian in Nineveh Plain and Sinjar region with the protection of international peacekeeping. That's the only way we can survive in our homeland. And now Canada has promised to bring a number of Yazidi escaped girls from northern Iraq. The Kharji has been opposing that. So our question to the world and to those leaders who claim responsibility for the world affairs, to ask the Kharji, where was the 13,000 Kharji forces in Sinjar when the ISIS come? Did they fight ISIS? Did they give any weapon to Yazidi to protect themselves? No. So the question is very clear that the Kharji or Barzani was collaborating with ISIS at that time. Now we know the ISIS on its way to go. And now the Kharji is claiming their forces back to Sinjar and to Nineveh Plain, which is too sad to see that the Kharji is being supported by especially the Western countries again. So we hope that the new U.S. administration will have faith in Trump to protect the non-Muslim minority in the Middle East so that we cannot be wiped off from our indigenous land. And we hope that Trump administration could support the autonomous region for the Yazidi and Syrian Christian in Sinjar and Nineveh Plain, with providing them military training and military equipment with the U.S. forces on the ground so that these people can feel safety, and then that they can, whoever in Iraq, they don't want to get out, that they can live in peace and freedom in their indigenous land. And we hope Canada could do the same and bring as many as possible Yazidi refugees from Turkey, from Syria and Greece, and give them equality and equal rights to those people as well. We are asking for the Canadian public to support this mission. The Yazidi are suffering in Turkey, in Syria and in Greece. And it's winter time. There are many lost their families that they cannot go back again to their they refuse to go back to the land that their own people abducted their women, raped them, killed their children, and converted them to Islam by forces. So these people are refusing to go back, and we hope that Canada could help them to bring them from Turkey, from Syria, and from Greece as soon as possible so that they can live as human beings with dignity. In late of 2014, there was a Yazidi girl, woman with a young child. Her name was Basma Darwish, was escaped from ISIS. And since then, she has been imprisoned by the Kharji. There was a report by Amnesty International asking for her release, and the Kharjis refusing to do that. The Kharjis blaming that she was the cause of the death of 3 Peshmerga, but the Barzani should be responsible for the death of more than 5,000 Yazidi. The property that cost billions of dollars, Barzani should be responsible for that, and Barzani should be able to pull his bloody dirty hand from Yazidi life and Assyrian life so that these people can have their basic human rights in their indigenous land with the protection of international community. This is Basma Darwish, and then the other is Yazidi child with skin diseases. There are many other cases of skin diseases, and there's no health care for them in northern Iraq. Many of them, for example, for this child, he cannot be helped in Iraq, and we hope and plead to the international community, and especially to the Doctors Without Borders, to visit the Yazidis in Mount Sinjar and to bring those one and provide the medical care that they need.
I'm Renanah, Gemeiner, and I'm here at a protest against collusion with Jihad. We see this collusion with Jihad against all the non-Muslim minorities indigenous to the Middle East, including the Yezidis, the Chaldo-Assyrian Christians, the Mandaeans, the Jews, the Jewish state. And we'll just read a little bit about the Jewish state and the lies that are being used to destroy the Jewish state. The land of Israel was given to the Jewish people by the creator of the universe. This is stated throughout our Torah. In this week's Parsha alone, Jacob speaks to Joseph and tells him how he was blessed by Hashem and how the land was given to his descendants, that's us, the Jewish people, as an eternal possession. The Jewish people are the indigenous people of the land of Israel, living there as a sovereign nation for long periods, beginning 3,000 years ago. The land of Israel, or Eretz Yisrael, was the area of land given to the Jewish people in the Torah, as I mentioned, and it included territory for 2.5 tribes east of the Jordan River and 9.5 tribes west of the Jordan. In the 2nd century CE, approximately 5 centuries prior to Islam, Roman occupiers renamed the Jewish state Philistine. The illegal occupation of Philistine or Palestine, the Jewish homeland, or Palestine, Eretz Yisrael, by the Romans, by the Arabs, the Crusaders, the Mamluks, and the Turks was the longest occupation in history. However, despite occupation and persecution, the Jewish people maintained their presence in Palestine, Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, and prayed daily for our return. Until recently, there were not large numbers of Arabs living in the Holy Land. For example, the noted Arab scholar Ibn Khaldun states in 1377, Jewish sovereignty in the land of Israel extended over 1,400 years. It was the Jews who implanted the culture and customs of the permanent settlement. In 1695, the Dutch scholar Hadriana Rolandi wrote, "The names of settlements were mostly Hebrew. No settlement had an original Muslim Arab name with a historical root in its location. Most of the inhabitants of the cities were Jews." In 1867, Mark Twain wrote, "There's not a solitary village throughout its whole extent, a desolate country." The population of Palestine in 1882 was 141,000 settled Arabs only, a big portion of which came into the country from Egypt in the beginning of the century. This was written by French geographer Vidal Quinet. The French should know better. If we look on our sign, you'll see a flag of Palestine in 1939 in the well-known French dictionary, the Larousse dictionary, and the flag of Palestine is the Jewish star. I'll just read a little bit about the legal rights behind the state of Palestine, the Jewish homeland. The legal rights of the Jewish people to the land of Israel. This was written by Solomon ben Zimra, and a blessed memory, and we thank him and Howard Grief and other great scholars. In the wake of World War I, when the Central Powers, that's Germany, Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire, were defeated, the Supreme Council of the Allied Powers convened the Paris Peace Conference in 1919. In Paris, this group, which had political and judicial power, created the League of Nations, which introduced the mandate system. They also concluded a number of treaties to remodel the map of Europe. They dispossessed the Ottoman Empire of its sovereignty over its territories in the Middle East, and they heard the claims presented by both the Arab delegation and the Zionist organization with regard to those Middle Eastern territories. In this Supreme Council of the Allied Powers was France. In April 1920 in San Remo, this group, including France, proceeded to the final adjudication of those territories. The local Arabs were granted sovereignty rights in over 96% of those territories. That's present-day Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and later Jordan. While Palestine was granted to the Jewish people worldwide, as per the recommendations of the widely supported Balfour Declaration, which became then an act of international law. All the above territories were placed under temporary mandates on behalf of the League of Nations. Iraq and Palestine to be administered by Britain, and Syria, Lebanon to be administered by France, pending suitable conditions enabling self-government. In July 1922, the mandate for Palestine was confirmed by the Council of the League of Nations. The mandate for Palestine applied to all the territory located west of the Jordan River. That includes Judea and Samaria, what people wrongly call the West Bank. And the mandate's key statement read, quote, recognition has been thereby given to the historical connection of the Jewish people with Palestine and to the grounds of reconstituting their national home in that country, unquote. The reconstitution and not the creation of the national home recognized pre-existing Jewish rights to the geographical region known as Palestine, based on the 3,200-year historical connection of the Jewish people to the land. These acquired rights of the Jewish people to the land of Israel were later officially recognized by the United States in 1924 and enshrined in the UN Charter of 1945, Article 80, and in the Vienna Convention of the Law of Treaties in 1969. This terrorist conference in Paris is nothing other than collusion with the jihadist forces which continue to want to destroy the Jewish state. And we ask President Trump to look for guidance and strength from our Creator to do the right thing for all the non-Muslim minorities in the Middle East. Thank you.